10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Look, up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane!
There's no need to fear.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, cause I'm black.
Hey everybody! Welcome back to Supa Black, an all-black panel podcasting experience where we talk about all things superhero, past, present, and future. From Marvel and DC to anime, there is no stone we will leave unturned as we take a deep dive into the genre of superpowered individuals and the worlds they inhabit. I am your friendly neighborhood host, Zuri Washington. I use she, her pronouns, and you can follow me on IG at Zuri with a fringe on top. That's Zuri with a Z, not Suri with an S. I'll leave it to the rest of today's Supa panel to introduce themselves. Take it away.
Hey, Jamal James here. My pronouns are he, him, his. You can follow me also on Instagram at the Jamal James, or Twitter, but I don't really use that much, and Facebook. That counts.
Hey everyone, my name is Jason Williams. I use he, him pronouns. Then you can find me on Instagram at BlueRanger83. And I guess Twitter too, but I don't really use Twitter. Twitter gets no shine here, I guess.
No shine here.
I mean, the owner left.
Hey everyone, my name is Omar Washington, he, him, and you can't find me on social media right now. My pages are private, but I will be having public pages up soon.
And don't forget to follow the podcast itself on Supa Black Podcast on Instagram. And you can follow us on Twitter at Supa Podcast, where I will be learning how to tweet because I'm not good at it. So feel free to follow that journey. But yeah, so now that we're all assembled, let's get started. Today's chat, we're going to talk about top 5 Avengers weapons. Now that is could be so many things, and we're going to talk about the criteria that we have for Avengers weapons. If y'all have your own ideas, please tweet them at us. Please add us on everything and tell us what your top 5 are. But we're just gonna get it started. There's obviously our main Avengers, our main cast of Avengers. We have Mjölnir, we have Iron Man's suit, which I definitely count as a weapon because I think in the context of just the Marvel everything, Tony's suit is a weapon of mass destruction.
I was gonna ask that. Are we counting people's suits?
Because... Yeah, War Machine's suit counts as a weapon.
It's definitely a weapon. It's a weapon of the government, if nothing else.
I'm writing all of these down. Okay, I'm gonna write all of these down so that we can come back and then
I appreciate you for that.
So I'm writing this down.
Because I was gonna try to remember from my brain, and that's probably a bad idea.
Hawkeye and Kate Bishop's bow and arrow, man.
The bow and arrows.
Gotta give some respect there. I mean, for me, top, no matter, I don't care what list you have, the top Avengers weapon to me is Captain America's shield. I think it is, especially when it comes in the movies, I think that is just now, the sound of that shield is just as iconic now as the lightsaber.
Now, can I ask you,
about it.
Is it top because you think it's the strongest, or it's iconic? Because it's iconic because it's Captain America's shield.
It's both.
Oh, okay.
I mean, depending on who it's wielded by.
I'd say it has to be Mjölnir, Iron Man's armor, and Captain America's shield, because they were 3 of the original Avengers. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Avengers first came out, they were there. So you can't leave those 3 out. So whoever the other 2 are going to be, they have to be.
So what do y'all feel about Stormbreaker?
I was going to ask about that.
I mean, it's more. I feel like it's more powerful. I can never say the proper name of Thor's hammer, so I'm just going to continue saying Thor's hammer.
Meow. Say meow.
Now, let's talk about this criteria for a second. We're saying Avengers, so that includes comics, right?
I think it includes comics because I don't want to leave out
limit. Right. I still want to put Wolverine's claws into this conversation.
See, now okay. I don't know. I feel like if we're going to talk Avengers weapons, we should keep it to the MCU for now. Because it's like...
I can't.
there's too many. If we're gonna talk about,
That's the whole point, though. You gotta get that top 5.
But so explain because we talked about this off camera before, but explain what you were saying again about Wolverine's claws and why you think they count, because I was saying that we shouldn't talk about superpowers. So I don't count almost any mutant.
Right.
Okay. So this is where we're gonna get. This is real like straight geeky territory. Wolverine is a mutant, but his mutant power is his ability to heal from anything. It's not the claws. The claws was an experiment put into his body because of the fact that he can heal from anything. His power is healing. The claws is a weapon that was just put into his bone structure because that's why he's so unique. That's why he was able to survive that process. That's why when it's completely painful in order for him to use them. Like that idea of like closing his fist to have them pop out, that is a weapon. It's not a power. It's not part of his power set.
But is it though? Not his adamantium claws, but his bone claws.
Yeah,
no, that would be a part of it. The adamantium was put on top of that.
Right.
Well, not necessarily, right? Because the adamantium was put over his bones, but his bone claws don't have a narrow razor edge, so they're not necessarily on top. The adamantium is not on top of the bone claws. The bone claws stayed recessed, while the adamantium claws would pop out on their own. The bone claws, if you ever looked at them, they're round. They're round. They're mostly for stabbing. They don't slice. They don't have a razor's edge like the adamantium.
Okay.
So
you're saying that the movie's got that wrong, because I always thought that they were
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, the bone claws are. I had. I'm sorry, you know my comic book story. I had the comic where his bone claws first popped out. They're not bladed.
They're not sharp.
No,
they're not a blade form where his adamantium claws are. So there's no way it could have been on top of there. He didn't even know he had bone claws. That's the thing. When his adamantium was taken out by Magneto, and he really tried to, something, and he popped them out of nowhere to his and everybody else's surprise.
Okay.
But it wasn't like I thought the adamantium was fused to his bones. So it was like I thought.
Yeah, that's what the whole movies were talking
about. The movies, at least,
but we acknowledge that the movie was wrong, right? Like at some level, that Wolverine movie was like questionable.
Well, I'm not even talking about the Wolverine movie. I feel like that's
just in general.
His, like origin. Yeah, it's been like, oh, he didn't have his skeleton and all that stuff. It was understood to me, the way I guess I processed it, is when they did those experiments adding the adamantium to him, it fused to his bones, which is why his bones were so strong. And then his claws, which were bone at first, had the adamantium also fused to them. And that's why they came out like...
Because I don't see the claws as a power. That's what I'm saying, like right now. It's like as an X-Men, it's not, I don't think of the claws as a power at all. It's the same way of like when I think about the differences between like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland's Spider-Man, is where like the act of like, this is a part of your body, so that's where like that's a power, but like that's an extra thing that was added on top of you, and now it's a weapon. Or like with Peter Parker, like him creating those things, that's a weapon. You're
saying because of the addition of the adamantium that it then becomes a weapon. Okay, I see what I think.
Yeah, if that makes any sense. I don't see it as like a genuine power that I was born with this and now I get to, like, it's not. That's what I'm saying. If that makes any sense.
I'm with you though. I'm with you on Wolverine's claws being an actual weapon that because the adamantium version. If you say bone claws, then no, it's a power.
Right.
And I think because they added the idea of bone claws came after they took out the adamantium. They wanted to give him something, so it kind of doesn't really fit. And that was done in the comic books. It doesn't really fit, but we accepted it, right?
So okay. I get that the adamantium claws, they're indestructible for the most part. But like, are y'all really putting that up there with like, with like Thor's hammer and the shield? And then you got
I'm sorry, like he's the most famous X-Men, technically speaking.
Well, then my question.
But he's not the most famous Avenger, so that's the problem, right?
No, that's true.
But he's been an Avenger. He's led the team.
He's led the team.
Who hasn't?
Who hasn't?
I don't think Black Widow's led the team. I don't think Daredevil's led the team.
That's not saying too
or
much.
Luke Cage.
That's not saying too much though about any of those characters because they've never been top characters.
Sure. I guess my question about weapons in general is like, does it matter then who wields the weapon? Because is it the weapon itself that is the criteria that we're going to discuss right now going to be the weapon itself that in the body or with anyone would do damage, or is it just by who uses it? Because
I
Iron
think
Man's
so.
suit is
Yes,
going
I
to
think it
create
should be the
damage no
former.
matter
That's what I'm saying. I
Right.
think the Captain America shield, whether it's Steve or whether it's
Sam.
whether it's Steve or Sam, like
Or
you're gonna
US
get hurt. You're gonna
Right.
get or U.S. agent, which I don't want to talk about him.
But even somebody,
He makes me
Sam
mad.
has
He makes me so
superpower.
mad.
Right.
But I'm like, you're gonna get messed up by
Bucky.
that shield, like you are.
Yes. So we're talking about weapons as standalone weapons, like
Yeah.
versus because that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like if we're just talking about like as them standalone, as you know, adamantium claws, yes, but when you have like Iron Man suit, the Black Panther suit, even the Winter Soldier arm, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking those
For that arm.
Right.
Mhm.
That's a weapon. That's a
Anything
weapon.
Yeah.
made from
Those.
vibranium. Should we just
Yeah.
put anything made from vibranium?
Vibranium.
Yeah.
Just
And, like,
vibranium is a category by
I
itself.
think there's also like the little tricky situation because you've got like Black Panther having the herbs as
Yeah.
I think would be like enhancing a physical, like that I would see it as a power. But what Shuri does to his suit, I would say that as like that purple stuff, at the reflection of things,
Yeah.
like especially that last battle, like I would say that is where you get into weapon territory.
That's a
Yes,
weapon.
the
If that
Black
makes
Panther
sense.
suit, absolutely.
I
If
think
a
it's
scientist had to
Mhm.
sit and do something,
yes.
then I think it's a weapon. Generally speaking, anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah. I
Like
think that
Mr.
makes sense.
Fantastic also has like some kind of
Well-
there's some kind of ultra super like ray gun that he created, some antimatter gun that's like the most powerful weapon in the entire universe. Like I would say like that's a true weapon, but we haven't seen that in like a movie form. But if you were saying
Yeah.
like a top Avenger like weapon, I'd be like, that counts.
Well, it's like
I would
like
say-
Chewie's bowcaster in Star Wars is one of the most powerful weapons in the universe, but because the
Mhm.
lore hasn't really reached the movies. But if you ask a Star Wars nerd, aka my boyfriend, he'll tell you all day, every day that bowcaster would destroy lives.
Right.
Yeah.
And
But
we
what
haven't
are you
even
gonna
talked
say?
about the
But I would
gauntlet.
say-
We haven't
But
talked
I
about
would
the
say
Infinity
this.
Gauntlet.
I would say this: anything that your cells does not emit is a weapon.
Yes.
If your
Yes.
cells cannot generate it, then it's a weapon. So that includes Wolverine's adamantium claws, because the
Adamantium.
bone
Yes.
claws
Mhm.
broke and they regrew. His
Yeah.
bone claws had
Mhm.
broken and they
Yeah.
regrew.
And they
So that
regrew.
is his body. It's a weapon, but it is it's part of his natural body.
I agree that they should be included as a weapon. I just don't think, just off the nuns we've named already, like I don't think that they are on the level at all.
Well-
when they don't stand up to any of the suits, any of Thor's hammers, any of like I don't think those adamantium
Wolverine's claws
Well, they're
would
in
get
consideration.
inside Iron Man's suit. Like
Yeah,
he
I
would
think
They're,
get
they're in
inside.
consideration, but they're not.
Hmm.
They may not be top 5 in terms of Avengers. Sure,
Mhm.
Marvel Universe maybe, right? But
The
just
comic
Avengers
books, I would say.
specifically,
Mm.
Avengers specifically, I wouldn't put Wolverine's claws as one of the top weapons.
Yeah.
What about Spider-Man? What about Spider-Man? Would you count Spider-Man?
The-
Because like Spider-Man is
the
an
webs.
Avenger, and he
I mean,
has led that
if
team.
we're talking MCU, yeah, but Spider-Man has been an Avenger. A lot of people have been an Avenger.
He's
But,
always in and out of every group. He's been in the
there's
Fantastic Four.
yeah any characters who has one foot in somewhere and one in another, they can't be iconic Avenger
Yeah.
characters to me. They're
Oh,
just
man.
they're just in and out, you know.
Mm.
Spider-Man
like when you need
sometime,
them.
Wolverine was an
Yeah.
X-Men and Avenger at the same time. It's like, you know,
Okay.
that's why.
So
yeah.
okay, I'm gonna give y'all something then. So
Okay.
we have right now we've got Thor's hammer. I mean, Mjölnir. We've got Stormbreaker. We got the Cap shield. We got the Iron Man suit. We got the Black Panther suit. We got the Winter Soldier arm. We got Hawkeye's bow and arrows. Wolverine's claws. Right?
Mhm.
Do we want to add? We want to add Spidey's web.
Yes.
I do we not
Do we
because
wanna
not
add-
because I don't think he's an Avenger, but because I don't think that those webs
I
stand
would
up
add
to those
Spidey's
other
webs
things.
over Stormbreaker, to be honest. For me
Why-
personally, I would put
Was
Spidey's.
Beta Ray Bill an Avenger?
No.
What about pin
I don't think so.
particles?
So then Stormbreaker can't count because he's not an Avenger.
Wait.
Well,
But
Thor's used
Thor
it.
used
Thor's
Stormbreaker.
used
You're
it.
talking about the MCU.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like
But
he's used it, but he's also used it in the comics. They took that because of the fact that because Jane Foster became Thor and she had Mjolnir in the
Mjolnir.
comics and he had Stormbreaker
And
as
he had
a
Stormbreaker.
substitute.
Okay.
So like he's used Stormbreaker. He used it for like 2 or 3 years before he became Thor again because Jane Foster died to cancer in those comic books and things like that.
I would like to introduce Pym particles to the discussion.
I think that counts. That counts as a weapon. That counts as a weapon.
It's a pretty good weapon too.
It is.
You can do so many things with
how
it,
do you weaponize the particles themselves as opposed to affecting other objects to use as a weapon? How do you weaponize the actual particles?
Well, like the same thing that when in Civil War where Scott throws the water tank and it turns into a fire tank, like you're technically making the tank bigger to turn into a weapon. Like you're changing something. You're using it as I think it's the action. Like where I'm turning this small just to so I can drive underneath like a truck. That's different. Like that's just like I need to get away. That's not weaponizing
that
something.
As a weapon though.
No,
it is weapon because it's weaponizing another item. The item becomes the weapon. That's what hurts. The Pym particles don't hurt.
But then no, they don't hurt. But
unless you turn somebody really old or really young or something like that, and they feel themselves like Scott did.
I'm dead.
So okay, I'm gonna create a bracket. We're gonna do this. I'm assigning seeds. Yes, I'm assigning seeds to these weapons here. Okay. So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 8. Okay. We got. If we're talking number 1 seeds, what is the number 1 seed as far as weapons go? Would it be Mjölnir?
For me, it's Cap Shield.
Cap Shield is like a number 1.
Cap Shield.
Cap Shield
is number 1.
Okay.
There's something about that shield.
We're not talking about ability to destroy or anything like that. We're
I'm
talking about representation, and it's Captain America.
And then, as
the
far
first
as
Avenger.
all of those, Cap Shield, if they're the 1 seed, right? Who's the 8? In my opinion, I'm putting Hawkeye's bow as an 8. Are we cutting Hawkeye's bow?
I think without Hawkeye, those arrows are super cool. However, without Hawkeye, like I don't know what an average person could do.
There's also Kate Bishop. Like you need a person to shoot them. You need someone to shoot them.
Without someone to shoot them, like Mjölnir, if someone is worthy, being worthy is a whole thing too. But I don't know.
It's a powerful weapon, right?
But is a weapon classified only by the person who has
Who
the
wields it?
ability to wield them successfully?
That's my question.
A person can take Hawkeye's arrows, let's say an explosive tip arrow,
right,
and throw it and kill a bunch of people. It doesn't need to be wielded by Hawkeye to do damage.
Yeah, I think it's like Hawkeye's genius.
But there's no precision.
He provides the precision.
Right, for the precision, right.
But it's
but he creates all those trick arrows.
He does. He does create all of them.
I'm trying to think.
Or Tony sometimes.
So we've got the Cap Shield is a 1. I think another. I feel like the Iron Man suit has to be 1, like another.
Yeah.
Maybe like a 2 seed, maybe something like that.
Yeah,
like
2. It's 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
It's one of those 2.
Because what I want to do is pit these weapons against each other and try to narrow it down and see so we can get to the top.
Yeah.
So we have the Iron Man suit. I think so. At the top of each bracket, there's like a top of each bracket. I'm gonna put Cap Shield, Iron Man suit, the black. Well, I think I'm outnumbered here, but we're gonna put Wolverine's claws as one of those.
But where though? Is this
where are you putting?
So we're doing
putting them in top 5.
So we're doing. I feel like instead of putting them like, I was trying to do this in seeds. Maybe this is not going to work. Putting him in like NCAA seeds, because I was just trying to be like, we don't really know, but we're trying to narrow them down. So you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to write them all down.
Okay.
Black Panther suit.
Let's see. I'm thinking.
Pym particles. Claws. Then we have Iron Man suit, Stormbreaker.
You got to give. You have to give
hammer.
T'Challa's suit.
And T'Challa's suit, right?
All it can do. Yeah, all it can do.
Because also, Tony's suits. None of Tony's suits are made from vibranium, right?
He has. Tony has made suits from
all kinds of material.
from
No, I know.
Thor's the
I
same
guess
the
like
same
yeah, if we're
the
taking in
same
the
material
whole.
as Thor's armor, the same material
Right.
as the Destroyer armor, not Thor's armor, Thor's hammer, the same material
Mhm.
as the Destroyer
I'm
armor.
gonna say like Iron
He's
Man
made a
suits is
celestial suit.
like a given. That's like that.
Right.
There's a length.
I
There's a
agree.
Yeah,
wealth of suits.
there's just
So
so many. The whole
I'm
battalion
gonna
of
say that's number
suits.
2. I'm gonna say that number 2 just
So
for the
Yeah.
Sure.
ingenuity
the
alone.
the 8 that I have right now are the Cap
Mhm.
Shield, Black
Yeah.
Panther suit, Iron Man suit,
Mhm.
Stormbreaker, Thor's hammer, Pym particles, adamantium claws, Winter Soldier arm. Do we want to add Doctor Strange? I know it's an Infinity Stone,
The Eye of Agamotto.
but yeah, we're not adding that.
No,
I
I
mean
don't
the
think.
Infinity Gauntlet.
I think we have to. I think
Yeah.
the issue is right because and I see why you wanted to do just MCU
MCU,
earlier,
right?
right?
Right.
It's too confusing when there's so much more lore in the comic books
Right.
and the
Right.
story is told a certain way,
Mhm.
and Doctor Strange never possessed that stone, especially not for that
Right.
purpose.
What
You
about his
don't. But
cape?
what about his
What about
cloak?
his cape? Yeah, his cloak.
That
I mean,
can be a weapon. That cloak
yeah,
has done some
that's
damage.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yo, I would put
That
his
cloak has done some
cloak
damage.
in
But
there over the Winter Soldier
but
arm.
the
What
Eye of
about
Agamotto,
Ultron?
the Eye of
Ultron,
Agamotto
just as a
is a
thing.
weapon as well, though. His Eye of Agamotto exists without that. The eye
Oh yeah,
itself
yeah,
is the
yeah,
piece. It's not a jewel inside that controls the
Right.
yeah.
power.
That's
It's the
true.
whole piece. They just did that for the movie, so.
Guys, I'm
So-
gonna say my number 1 weapon is Ultron. I changed my mind. Just
Well,
period.
Well-
it's no longer a weapon though, unless it was controlled by a human.
Unless it's
Because
controlled by a human, sure.
Ultron is sentient in his
It's
entire
sentient. That
being.
makes
He's
sense.
made
Mhm.
of that.
So I'm taking out the Winter Soldier arm because I
Okay.
think that the cloak is going to replace the Winter Soldier arm.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think
Okay.
Winter Soldier arm is one of the less popular
Yes.
iconic weapons anyway. You can kind of kick that out of there.
Yeah, kick it out.
Okay. Doctor
I think
Strange.
Hawkeye's bow and arrows are more important than Winter Soldier.
I think Spidey's web shooters have to count in that top 5. I do.
In
But
the
I
top
don't.
five?
But,
do.
but in the
Tom
top
Holland's
5.
spiders, though his I think they gotta.
But I don't know in terms of like.
He's used it as a weapon. He can make spider
No, of
balls
course.
that hit really
Yeah.
hard. He's
I
done
think
that before.
I think that it would be a competition between the web shooters versus the arrows. Like that to me is a
Nah,
Mm.
Hawkeye. Because if you're saying Avengers, and this is
Mm.
again the MCU thing, right? Because if we're talking
Mhm.
MCU, then Spider-Man is way more he seems more important to the Avengers than Hawkeye does. He does. He seems
I think
like it,
I think
even
they're
though
trying to
Hawkeye was
groom
there
him
first.
I
to lead
think.
at some
But
point. That's what
Yeah.
I think.
But Hawkeye was one of the original, not original, but he was there a long time ago, and then
Sure.
Yeah.
he formed the Avengers West Coast, right?
Mhm.
So
okay.
Right.
I mean, Hawkeye is an Avenger through and through, more than Spider-Man has ever been.
Yeah, and I think what
Yeah.
they did with the TV series, without spoiling anything, for those who may not have finished, but what I think they did with the TV series was give me a clearer or go along with the idea of making it clear how much he doesn't care about being in the spotlight, and that's not his thing. Like he is very much like a shield agent, at least in the context of the MCU. He's a shield
Mhm.
agent. He's been put onto doing specific tasks, and he does them well because that's what he was trained to do, et cetera, et
Right.
cetera, et cetera. So I think that he's not flashy, but he doesn't need to be to get the job done.
Mhm.
Whereas like I'm still questioning the web shooters being, because when we say top 5, is it because they're top 5 most popular or powerful?
I think it's powerful. I think we
So
should
I don't
go
think the
straight
web
on
shooters are powerful.
Oh, so we are doing powerful.
See, that's what I think. I think if you're talking about weapons,
thought it was
in the
popular.
way-
See, that's what I knew you were doing.
Iconic.
That's what I thought.
Iconic.
See, no, I
I
don't think
thought it
we
was
should go
iconic, so-
iconic. I think we should go. What is the most powerful Avenger weapons? So like, I would like put. So if we're choosing, right, like it would be like the Iron Man suit versus the Black Panther suit. It would be like I think Stormbreaker versus Mjölnir.
Mhm.
I wish I could say that properly.
Pretend the J doesn't exist. Just say
Mjölnir.
Yeah.
Mjölnir.
Do that.
Mhm.
Mjölnir. Yeah.
I like how Kat Dennis says
Meow
it.
meow.
Meow meow.
Meow meow. It's like what?
But
Okay.
I think so. Let's clarify, because I think that we didn't clarify at the beginning. Popular versus, or sorry, popular / iconic versus powerful. Because those are two very different things.
Yes.
They are.
Yes.
Because the iconography behind Cap's shield, 100%, like that's
Right.
top, period, end of discussion. Power's hard to see this, and this is why I'm saying power. This is why I was interested in whether or not the person wielding it matters.
Mhm.
So let's go for popular
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's I have a top
/
4.
iconic.
I think I have a top 4 that's pretty hard to argue.
Okay.
The main 3 that we mentioned, which were original Avengers, which is Cap, Iron Man's armor, and Thor.
Yeah.
And then if you throw in Black Panther, only because he's been a part of the Avengers for a while now,
Mhm, mhm.
and I think he currently leads the Avengers. I think so.
Okay.
And he's been doing so very effectively,
Mhm.
very effectively. I guess he has that ability because he leads a nation, right? So
Mhm.
he's been doing it very effectively, more than other leaders who kind of stepped in and stepped out, or
Yeah.
other members who stepped in and stepped out. So I think Black Panther, when you look at I pulled up a roster of a bunch of Avengers, and most of them, they have powers,
Right.
Yeah.
right? They have actual powers. So
Right.
so it's kind of hard to say weapon this, weapon that. So I think in my mind, and it's just not limiting it to the MCU, it's those 4. We just have to find the 5th.
You
That's
said Cap.
that's
What?
me.
Repeat those. You said Cap shield, Iron
Cap
Man armor,
shield,
Black
Iron
Panther
Man,
suit.
Mjölnir, and
Black Panther suit.
Black Panther suit.
Okay. And then,
Hmm.
and you said, and this is based on their, being iconic, and we're not talking about
Yeah.
power. We're talking about
Yeah.
most popular iconic weapons.
And y'all
Yeah, I mean,
really don't
because-
want to put them web shooters on here.
I mean, if we're talking about iconic,
But if we're talking about iconic,
then yes,
sure.
I think the
Yeah.
web shooters should be there.
I would say the web shooters. Let me think.
Iconic, probably, but then you would have to go him. It would be Spider-Man versus Wolverine. We'd have to pick.
Yeah.
I think
I would
that's fair.
I would choose Spider-Man.
Me too.
I would choose the web shooters over Wolverine's claws. Spider-Man didn't claws in the way. I would. I mean, just the fact that like No Way Home got over $1 billion like yesterday.
Well, you said yesterday. And for those who are listening, we are recording this just after Christmas, just so you know. But I don't know. Wolverine. It's not that Spider-Man is less. I know that Spider-Man's more popular than Wolverine, but the Wolverine craze is still a thing. Like people are wild about Wolverine.
But where would you put, if you're talking about Avengers?
Thinking.
If you're talking about Avengers, would you feel like Spider-Man is more of an Avenger than Wolverine?
Absolutely.
Or Wolverine's more Avenger than
Yeah.
Spider-Man?
That's
Not
true.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Sure. So I would, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's what I'm choosing as my criteria.
Wolverine is more of an X-Man.
Yes,
than he is.
100%.
And that was the whole issue, right? With Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, why Marvel and Fox got to share those characters, because they were both equally almost X-Men and not X-Men, but part of the mutant universe as well as the Avengers.
Right.
So if I'm looking at this list, I feel like the only ones that need to be talked about are 3, 4, and 5, because in my opinion, we're talking about iconic and most popular. The Cap shield and Mjölnir are 1 and 2 to me. What do y'all feel about that? I don't feel like there are any other more popular iconic weapons than those.
I think before 2008, Iron Man could have been number 3. I think now, since the Iron Man movie and everything that's happened since then, I think that Iron Man and Thor
have switched.
In the movies it's still Iron Man. In the comics it was Thor, but now I put them neck and neck.
Yeah, I think the what's the sound that the Iron Man
popularity
thing,
Oh, the
like that?
Yeah.
I think that sound, as well as I don't know, there's something I would say before 2008 I would put Mjolnir as number 2.
Yeah.
I think after 2008, like the past, like, oh my gosh, this is so weird to be talking about this. Well, it's just like, they released 21 films in 10 years. 21 films.
And we've seen like at least 50 Iron Man suits.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
I'd have
There
to
have
put
been-
that Iron Man at number 2.
Sure,
I'd have to.
I
Iron
would
Man
say
at
Iron.
2?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got. So then I think, are we all in agreement? I think the web shooters are 5.
Mm.
Since
I
that's the
al-
most controversial. Like, I feel like that's the most.
Because Spider-Man is not as much of an Avenger as the other ones, I would say that's why he's number 5.
Number 5,
and that's
yeah.
the only reason why.
Mhm.
And we have 5 web shooters. Number 4, Black Panther suit.
What was number? 3 would be Mjölnir, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Like it's different if we were like talking about like Uber Marvel instead of just MCU. I'd be like, there's more that I would love for Black Panther to be shown doing in order for him to be number 4. So it's hard for me to like take Hawkeye's arrows out of that placement right now because there's been so much difference of trick arrows, especially with the Hawkeye show.
But do you think those arrows are more popular, like, and more iconic, like, than the Black?
Than his weaponized suit? No, I don't. I'm just saying that I feel as if I would love to have more to have this conversation, like have more experiences of Black Panther on his own.
Sure.
You
Like
get me?
in 3 years, we'll have a completely different conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Omar.
There is one character who's nowhere near as popular, but I think the suit being a weapon is important because this person is more of an Avenger. The Wasp. The Wasp has been an Avenger for a long time. And her suit, although shrinks by pin particles, the suit is a weapon itself.
The suit itself, yeah.
So she's more of an Avenger than Spider-Man has ever been. Because there's certain characters who only are associated to a team. Spider-Man can stand on it. Spider-Man can stand on his own and has for a long time. The Wasp doesn't carry very long on her own as a character, right?
Right, but we're talking. We were talking about the criteria of like iconic weapons. For Avengers,
So
right?
iconic.
Like yes, exactly.
So,
are you telling me that you think that the Wasp's stingers, like of her suit, is more iconic than Spider-Man's web shooters?
No, not at all.
Nah.
No, not at all.
I think in Quantumania we'll see a lot more than what we've seen already. So I'm excited to see how much more they give Hope to do. And they did a lot in What If actually with her, like, or at least quite a bit in some of those episodes. But I think the top 5 we have right now makes sense to me.
Yeah. So 5 web shooters, 4 Black Panther suit, 3 Mjölnir, 2 Iron Man suit, and then 1 Captain America shield.
Yeah, honestly, about those 2 through 5, we can debate all day.
I feel great with
really,
that.
I'm sorry, that shield has to be.
I am good with that.
I'm glad we decided it was like popular and iconic versus powerful, because the powerful, that is hard to determine. What is more powerful?
Well,
it's so based on who you.
But like the thing is that shield has stood up to so much.
Iron Man suit would beat all of them, honestly, because Thor has gotten to the point where he was Galactus's herald recently. He's able to do like so much, and he even actually killed Galactus, right? Which is a crazy feat in itself. But that's Thor. That's not necessarily Mjolnir, right? But Iron Man has crafted suits out of celestial. He's made a celestial suit. I mean, come on.
Right. But the shield has withstood like Mjolnir and has withstood like Iron Man's blasts, like multiple suits.
But it got destroyed by in the movies. It got destroyed by Thanos.
By Thanos, but Thanos is like, I can't remember what the I can't remember how strong Thanos is actually, like what he can actually lift or punch or do. But like there's something, he's like got Superman levels of strength for Thanos itself. I would have to look up, but like there's like something where he can like lift quintillion tons.
I mean, he's like, I feel like he's more like Hulk than he's like, because he's jumping up and grabbing moons and
well, that was Infinity Gauntlet. That was Infinity Gauntlet.
That's Infinity Gauntlet.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, there's something about the shield where I'm like, we don't know exactly how strong vibranium actually is.
Well, it's
truthfully.
Wait.
Been a contested. I know we're about to go into.
Yeah. We can talk. Oh my god, we can talk about this forever.
But I would still say only Tony Stark's armor, because celestials are very old and ancient beings, cosmic. They're cosmic, and if he's able to tap into that, which he has, then it's almost unbeatable. He made that so he could fight other cosmic beings. So
Just don't forget, Cap can do this all day.
True.
So wait,
And with that,
no.
last time.
So our top 5 last time.
Last time, so that people can comment on this. Number 5, what do you guys think? Number 5, web shooters.
Yep.
Number 4
Yeah.
is the Black Panther suit.
That's
Number
right.
3 is Mjölnir. Number
right.
2 is the Iron Man suit. And number 1 is the Captain America shield. Let us know what you think.
That's right.
Yes, please let us know what you think. And everyone, say goodbye.
Hey, Jamal James. Bye, everybody. He, him, his. Remember, follow me at the Jamal James on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook.
And I'm Jason Williams. Remember, you can follow me at Blue Ranger 83 on Instagram.
Omar Washington, he, him. And you can't follow me except when you catch me here.
And I am Zuri Washington. You can follow me at Zuri with a fringe on top. And don't forget to follow us on IG at Supa Black Podcast and follow us on Twitter at Supa Podcast. And remember, should you need heroes, we've got your back. We fear no topic, we attack. If conversation is what you lack, you'll find it here with Supa Black. Bye. Hey there, this is your current day friendly neighborhood host, and these are the conventions that are on the horizon. Every episode, we will be highlighting upcoming cons in the hopes that some of our listeners out there will be able to attend in person or online. First up is Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim, California, starting up May 26th. From May 27th to May 29th, we have 3 simultaneous cons: Comic Palooza in Houston, Texas, Fanboy Expo, Columbus in Columbus, Ohio, and the Phoenix Fan Fusion in Phoenix, Arizona. Next weekend, we have the Awesome Con taking place in DC, and further south, the Infinity Con in Tallahassee, Florida. For more information on all of these cons and more, check out our link tree located in our social media pages. Mask up and be safe. Hope to see you there.